All right, let's jump right in. What if I told you that some of the biggest, most baffling mysteries in space, the weird signals, the strange visitors, what if they aren't separate puzzles at all? What if they're all connected, just different chapters in one single incredible story that we're only now starting to piece together? Okay, so it all kicks off with a few cosmic cold cases. First up, case file number 1. The year is 1977. A radio telescope in Ohio suddenly gets hit with this blast of radio waves from deep space. It lasts for 72 seconds, and it's so powerful, so structured, that the astronomer who found it literally just scribbled, "Wow," on the printout. And then, poof, it was gone. Never heard from again.
Then there's case file 2, Tabby star. It's way out there, almost 1,500 light years away. And this star, well, it does something really, really weird. It doesn't just twinkle, it dims, like big time, sometimes losing more than 20% of its light, and it's completely erratic. There's just no known natural phenomenon that can explain it, which has led a lot of people to wonder if something huge and maybe artificial is orbiting it.
And finally, let's talk about the visitors. Case file number 3. For the first time ever, we've spotted objects zipping through our own solar system that came from another star. Think about that. And the first one, ʻOumuamua, was just plain bizarre. It was shaped like a cigar, tumbling end over end, and moving in a way that just didn't add up for a normal rock.
So, you've got this mysterious signal, a star that's flickering like a broken lamp, and these weird interstellar objects. Now, for decades, astronomers have treated them as totally separate puzzles, just random, weird things happening out in the cosmos. But what if they're not random at all? What if they're all clues pointing to the same thing? And look, these aren't just sci-fi stories. Each one of these is a real, documented scientific mystery that has completely baffled astronomers. I mean, sure, there are theories for each one, but nothing quite fits. No single explanation really works, so they've just sat there, like cosmic cold cases, in a file marked "We have no idea."
And this is where this whole story just flips on its head. See, we've always been scanning the skies, right? Listening for some kind of intentional hello, a clear message from the stars. But maybe that was the wrong approach. As the idea goes, we have always scanned the heavens listening for a whisper. We were wrong. What if the first contact wasn't a greeting at all? What if it was a complete and total accident? Because this is where all those clues finally start snapping together. The whole theory, the whole story, it all hangs on one single accidental signal, a desperate broadcast from a civilization that was dying.
This story takes us back to Tabby's star, and it asks us to imagine a civilization there, the gardeners. They're living in the twilight of their existence, inside this gigantic but failing Dyson structure around their star. Their star is dying, their world is fading, and in a last-ditch effort, one scientist decides to run a rogue experiment.
And what was that experiment? Well, they were trying to punch a tiny wormhole through space-time. They fired this incredibly powerful radio beam into it, and for just a second, it worked. But it was catastrophic. The pulse blasted out the other side, shot across the galaxy, and, by pure chance, slammed right into our radio telescope in Ohio. That was the WOW signal. It was never meant for us, it was a cosmic accident, and it's how they found out we were here. So imagine you're them. Your civilization is doomed, but you've just discovered this young, thriving world teeming with life. What do? Well, according to this story, they made a really tough call. Open contact? No way. Way too risky, especially for a chaotic species like us. So instead, they decide to send a gift, a legacy. And to get it here, they'd use the perfect camouflage, the ultimate cosmic delivery service, comets.
But you don't just send a gift like that blind, right? First, you've got to do some recon. You have to be sure. So they launched a couple of scouts, highly advanced probes disguised as totally normal interstellar comets.
And these were our visitors. The first scout we called ʻOumuamua. Remember the weird, tumbling, cigar-shaped thing? Well, in this story, that was a stealth ship. Its strange shape was on purpose, designed to be hard to spot while it was listening in on all our radio signals. And then the second one, Borisov, was the complete opposite. It looked like a perfect, pristine comet, but it was a mimic, a disguise, and its real job was to get close enough to sniff our atmosphere and confirm without a doubt that our planet was alive.
So you see the strategy, right? It was a brilliant two-pronged attack. You have ʻOumuamua, the silent blade, confirming we're a technological civilization, and then you have Borisov, the faithful mimic, confirming Earth is biologically rich. Mission accomplished. The recon phase was over.
Okay. The scouting mission was a success. It was time for the main event.
the gardeners prepared their final, most important package, a genetic ark, hidden inside a huge comet that we would later call Atlas.
And the journey this thing took, it wasn't random at all. It was like a perfectly choreographed dance. It came into our solar system on a very specific trajectory, pulled off this critical flyby of Mars, looped around the sun, and then headed back out into deep space. Every single move was calculated.
And that Mars flyby, that was the key. Atlas came within just 1.66 million miles of the red planet. Now, for us, that was just a cool cosmic near-miss. But in this narrative, that was the drop-off point, the moment of delivery.
And you know what? We were watching all of our best telescopes, Hubble, even the rovers on Mars. They were all pointed at Atlas. And what did we see? We saw a gorgeous, totally natural-looking comet with a huge tail of gas and dust streaming behind it as it got closer to the sun. We thought it was amazing.
But we missed the real show, because hidden inside that beautiful plume of gas and dust was the payload. Tiny, microscopic probes rained down onto the Martian surface, programmed to begin the slow, patient work of terraforming the planet. And for Earth, something more subtle. A sprinkle of symbiotic microbes seeded into our upper atmosphere, designed to give our own biosphere a little boost.
So, where does that leave us? This brings us to the really profound part of this whole idea, because it's not just a story about aliens. It's a story about what they left for us, a cosmic inheritance.
The gardeners of Tabby's star. They're gone. Their star finally faded, their massive home is now dark and silent, but in their final moments, they didn't use the remaining energy to save themselves. They used it to give one last incredible gift. They planted a seed of their legacy right here in our solar system.
And if this story is true, it changes everything. It means we're not just passive observers looking up at the sky anymore, wondering if anyone's out there. It means we are inheritors. We're the caretakers of a garden that was planted for us before we even knew to look.
It's a really compelling idea, right? It takes these very real scientific mysteries and weaves them into this incredible speculative narrative. And it leaves you with a pretty big question to chew on. The next time we spot a strange visitor streaking through our solar system, what are we really looking for? Are we just seeing a comet? Or could we be looking at a message, a library, or maybe, just maybe, the start of a whole new chapter for humanity?